practice, we talk about what you need, we talk about what we want to see, but it's up to you to really think about what you need to do to make those improvements. Some of you who kind of don't take it so seriously need to understand that along the way, it's not just, this practice is meant to help you become better writers, okay? So one way to help you do that is we have the Tide scoring sheet that you guys all have in front of you, okay? All your writing, we take a look at it, and we hope that, okay, the first time we wrote about someone that you knew, okay, maybe you didn't have an introduction, but then we talked about it, so then when you wrote about your favorite place, we saw that introduction. And now that we're doing this, we're seeing the elaboration on your introduction in a paragraph. So we're hoping to see increments of growth, okay, and you guys getting a little bit more proficient with what it is that you're doing. One way to help you is by scoring your own writing, okay, you guys scoring it. So we will be using the same paper that you have, okay, but this is more for you to kind of help you say, ooh, I need to do this or I need to do that. So when you're looking at your paper, I don't even have one in front of me.
I was going to say, I was trying to give you one, and I actually had made a new version that had this added onto it, but I forgot it was in the printer actually.
Oh, okay, that's
So that's fine. So maybe,
okay.
if you want, they could write on this one, and then we could photocopy that
And
one.
give
for
this to
their
them? Okay, so what we're going to ask you to do is use your Tide scoring sheet to score my writing, our writing. Well, this was a group effort. It was Mrs. Head, it was Mrs. Shields, who left me high and dry one day, but that's okay. And
Happens.
we did it. We got it done. So now you're going to help me score our writing, and we're going to see what it is that we need to include to get better. Okay? So starting here, let's take a look at how you're looking at your writing. Introduction / topic paragraph. For that, you get 5 points. Okay? You don't get any points if you don't have it. You get a 2 if you include the main idea of what your whole paper is about, and you get 3 points if you include 3 detailed sentences that tell what's coming up in your detailed paragraphs. But if you're including your main idea and including those 3 details, you get 5 points. Okay, so that's how you can score your points for the introduction. The next part are the important detailed paragraphs. For each paragraph, you can get up to 2 points for a total of 6. And in each paragraph, well, what are we looking for? Well, paragraph does not support the main idea. You don't get any points for that. Paragraph does support the main idea. It goes back to the main idea, so you're supporting it. But a 2 is you support the main idea and you elaborate in an interesting way. You add more details to your detailed sentence, to your main idea. Okay, so you're adding more details. You're not just stating it and then moving on. You're stating it, you're talking about it, you're making it interesting for your reader. That's how you can get your 2 points for that paragraph. Then we've got the wrap-up. You can get a possible of 3 points. No wrap-up, 0. Wrap-up paragraph that restates the main idea would be a 1. A 2 is you wrap up and you restate your 3 important details. You put all that in your ending. But then to get the 3, you wrap up, you include your important details, and then you add like a clever inference at the end, or you make like a clever kind of, add like kind of like an interesting inference at the end of all your writing, okay? So that's basically how we score your writing, or how you're going to score your writing. Yes?
Are we allowed to edit our thing right now?
Are you allowed to edit? We're just practicing scoring. Okay, so we want to see how this works, because you know what? If we score mine and we realize maybe I'm missing an introduction, when I set my goals for myself, what do you think one of my goals is going to have to be? Work on my introduction, because I didn't really get as many points as I possibly could. Okay, so this is going to be a way for us to help ourselves, but we want you to practice using this tool. So let's see here. I'm going to read this, and you guys need to listen. Okay, so this is the one that goes on. Yeah, okay. On. Okay. Children who lived during colonial times had a hard life. First of all, in order for a family to survive, all members had to do chores. Children had chores to do. 2. They would have to get up at the crack of dawn to fill buckets of water for the daily chores. After that, they would have to tend to the farm animals. They would milk the cow and collect eggs. Later on, they would have to make soap, which was a time-consuming and laborious process. Not everyone had a chance to go to school. Only certain boys from the family were chosen to attend school and be educated. While in school, there were 3 very important rules to follow. Kids were not allowed to giggle, wiggle, or whisper. In addition, kids did not have a lot of time to play. Their only time to... did I not finish it? I don't know if I finished it. Oh, was after their chores. Oh, their only time to play was after their chores were done. When I reflect on the hard life that colonial children led, they must have been very brave and are excellent examples of perseverance. Okay. So let's go back. What do you guys think about the introduction? Do I have an introductory paragraph? No. I don't. Do I? It's not here. So what would you guys give me?
0.
Wait a second. Wait a minute, to our defense over here. What's the main idea of the whole thing? That life was hard. Do I state a main idea?
Yeah.
All right.
But there's no paragraph itself, it's just one big paragraph.
Ooh, but it wasn't a paragraph, it was a topic sentence. All right, so what do you guys think? 0. Crushing me. All right, 0. I need to work on that topic paragraph. Okay, so I score 0. Jeez, I've got to use my positive self-talk. It's okay. Next time I can do it. I can do it. Okay. What about my important detailed paragraphs? So let's talk about the detailed paragraph about having to do chores. Well, at least it's a paragraph, right? At least I have. Give me at least the paragraph. Will you? No?
It seems like this is one of your body paragraphs, one of your detail paragraphs, right? Like you didn't have an introduction,
Make it into a
you had a topic sentence, but then you rolled right into your important detail paragraphs. Would you
Okay.
guys agree with that? Okay,
So what do you think? So it maybe wouldn't be a 0 because I have a paragraph, and like Mrs. had said, I skipped my introductory. I mean, I got a 0 for introductory paragraph. I didn't include it. So moving on to the next part. What do you guys think about my first paragraph? A 2?
I give you a 1. So you only got 2 left. It's not even a paragraph.
Okay.
Just one big paragraph.
So what do you guys think? Show me with your fingers. 1 or 2 or... What do you guys think?
okay.
All
How
right.
you justify your thinking a little bit. So the choices are 0, 1, or 2 for each of the detail paragraphs. So this is the first detail paragraph. So 0, 1, or 2. And be prepared to justify your thinking. You know what that means? Explain your thinking. You need to back it up, just like we'll ask you to do when you do your own writing. Because you need to know why. You can't just randomly score. So did anyone give it a 0? Justify your thinking. So why? Did you give it a 0? The first is the detail paragraph?
Yeah.
Why? Does it not support the main idea that children who lived during colonial times had a hard life? Did the paragraph all about the chores not support that main idea? I think it does. I mean, if you're talking about a hard life and we're trying to think about, okay, well, why was their lives hard? Why were their lives hard? Do you feel like the chores would make sense to talk about when you're trying to show that? Okay, so I think that it does support the main idea. What about those of you who gave it only a 1? What do you think? Campbell? I can't hear you. Okay, 1 because it did support the main idea. Why not a 2? The difference between a 1 and a 2 is that it elaborates in an interesting way. Remember, we expand on that idea. So did we expand on our main idea, or did we just say they, first of all, in order for a family to survive, all family members had to do chores, children had to do chores too. Period. Done. Move next paragraph. Okay.
Know what I think the catch is?
What?
Interesting. Interesting is a subjective word.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you may think it's interesting and some of you may think it's not interesting. Interesting is a pretty subjective kind of thing. Something that may be interesting to you may not be interesting to me. Right? So I think maybe the catch is interesting there. But I think Mrs. Head makes a really good point. It doesn't just stop at, first of all, in order for a family to survive, all family members had to do chores. Children had chores to do too. It elaborated. It did elaborate. It went on and talked about the different chores that kids did. So, whether or not, but the elaboration is there. Because if you think about it, I wonder if 2 should be paragraph does support